husbands with black, too famous to live long, King Henry V. England ne'er lost a king of so much worth.
His deeds that exceed all speech.
Gloucester, what are we like? Thou our protector, lookest to command the prince and realm.
Henry V thy ghost I invocate. Prosper this realm, keep it from civil broils.
Dare no man answer in a case of truth?
Within the temple hall we were too loud. The garden here is more convenient.
Then say at once, if I maintained the truth.
Judge you, my lord of Warwick, then between us.
Between two dogs, which hath the deeper mouth. I have perhaps some shallow spirit of judgment, but in these nice sharp quillets of the law, good faith, I'm no wiser than a dog.
The truth appears so naked on my side that any purblind eye may find it out.
And on my side, it is so well apparelled, so clear, so shining, and so evident that it will glimmer through a blind man's eye.
Since you are tongue-tied and so loath to speak, in dumb significance proclaim your thoughts. Let him that is a true-born gentleman and stands upon the honor of his birth, if he suppose that I have pleaded truth, from off this briar pluck a white rose with me.
Let him that is no coward nor no flatterer, but dare maintain the party of truth, pluck a red rose from off this thorn with me.
I love no color, and without color of base insinuating flattery, I pluck a white rose with Plantagenet.
I pluck this red rose with young Somerset, and say withal I think he held the right.
Stay, lords and gentlemen, and pluck no more, till you conclude that he upon whose side the fewest roses are profit from the tree shall yield the other in the right opinion.
Good Master Exeter, it is well objected. If I have fewest, I subscribe in silence.
And I.
Then for the truth and plainness of the case, I pluck this pale and maiden blossom here, giving my verdict on the white rose side.
Now, well, come on, who else?
Unless my study in books be false, the argument you made was wrong in law, and sign whereof I pluck a white rose too. Now, Somerset, where is your argument?
I'll find friends to wear my bleeding roses that shall maintain what I have said is true.
Now, by God's will, thou wrongst him, Somerset. His grandfather was Lionel, Duke of Clarence, third son to Edward III, King of England. Spring crestless yeoman from such deep a root.
Was not thy father Richard, Earl of Cambridge, for treason executed? And by his treason standst not thou attainted, corrupted, and exempt from ancient gentry? And till thou be restored, thou art a yeoman.
My father was condemned to die for treason, but he was no traitor, and that I'll prove on better men than Somerset.
Thou shalt know us by these colors for thy foes, for these my friends in spite of thee shall wear.
And by my soul this pale and angry rose shall I forever, and my faction wear, till it wither with me to my death, or flourish to the height of my degree.
Go forward, and be choked with thy ambition.
Farewell, ambitious Richard.
How I am grieved, and must perforce endure it.
This blot that they object against your house shall be whipped out in the next Parliament. And if thou not then be created York, I will not live to be accounted Warwick. Meantime, hear I prophesy, this brawl today shall send between the red rose and the white 1,000 souls to death in deadly night.
Good Duke of Exeter, I am bound to you that you on my behalf would pluck a flower.
In your behalf, so will I wear the same.
And so will I. Thanks, Cardinal. Come, let us forward to dinner. I dare say this quarrel will drink blood another day.
My honorable lords, health to you all. Sad tidings bring I to you out of France, of loss, of slaughter, and discomfiture. Rhone, Orleans, Paris are all quite lost.
If Henry were recalled to life again, this news would surely cause him to yield the ghost.
Regent I am of France. I will fight for France. Away with these disgraceful wailing robes.
Lords, France is revolted from the English. The Dauphin Charles is crowned king in wings. Rainier, Duke of Anjou, with him is joined.
The Dauphin, crowned king, 10,000 soldiers with me I will take, whose bloody deeds will make all of
to the tower of all thy haste to check thy artillery and munition, and then I will reclaim young Henry King.
Let's raise the siege. Be not dismayed, for succor is at hand. And only maid there with me I bring, which by a vision sent to her by heaven, ordained is to drive the English forth the walls of France. Speak, shall I call her in? Go, call her in. But first to try her skill. Regale, stand thou as dauphin in my place. Question her proudly, let thy looks be stern. By this means shall we sound what skill she hath. Fair maid, is thou wilt do these wondrous feats?
Rainer, if thou wilt thinkest to be God, where is the dauphin? Come from behind. I know thee well. So never seen before, be not amazed. There is nothing hid from me. Dauphin, I am by birth a shepherd's daughter. My wit unslain in any kind of art. God's mother deigned to appear to me, and in a vision full of majesty willed me free my country from calamity. Her aid she promised, and assured success. My claims tried by combat with your birth, and thou shalt find and I'll exceed my success. Resolve on this, thou shalt be fortunate. Thou exceed me, for thy warlike mate.
Only this proof I'll of thy valor make. In single combat thou shalt buckle with me, and if thou vanquishest, thou wilt thou prove.
I am prepared. Here's my keen-edged sword.
Then come on God's name! I fear no woman.
And where I live, I'll ne'er fly from a man.
Stay thy hands! Thou art an Amazon, and fightest with the sword of Deborah. My arts and hands thou at once subdued. Let me thy servant, and not sovereign be.
I must not yield to any rights of law. For my profession is sacred from above. When I have chased all thy foes from hence, then, lighting some from hence, fight till last gasp. I'll be your guard.
Presently will try.
Moje pokryje.
No prophet will I trust if she prove false.
My lord, the French have gathered head. The Dauphin with one Joan la Pucée joined. A holy prophetess new risen up is come with great power to raise the siege.
Here, here! Then try we what these dastard Frenchmen dare! Where is my strength, my valor, and my force? Our English troops retire. I cannot stay them. A woman clad in armor chases them. I'll have a bout with thee.
Count is only I that much disgrace thee.
Heavens, can you suffer hell so to prevail? My breast doth burst with the straining of my courage, but I will chastise this high-minded strumpet.
Farewell, Talbot. Thy hour is not yet come. Or take me if thou canst. I scorn thy sight.
This day
comest thou with deep premeditated lines? Duke of Gloucester, if thou canst accuse, do it without invention.
Presumptuous priest, art thou not an enemy to peace? Lascivious, wanton, much more than seems a man of thy profession and degree.
My covetous, ambitious, or perverse, as he will have me, how haps it I seek not to advance my wonted calling? No, my good lords, it is not that he offends, it is that no one should sway but he shall know I am as good!
As good? Thou bastard of my grandfather!
Rome shall remedy this.
Rome should thither, then.
Uncles of Gloucester and of Winchester, I would prevail if prayers might prevail to join your hearts in love and amity. Oh, what a scandal is it to our crown that two such noble peers as you should jar. Believe me, lords, my tender years can tell, civil dissension is a viperous worm that gnaws the bowels of the commonwealth. What tumult's this?
An uproar, I dare warrant.
My good lords and virtuous Henry, pity the city of London, pity us! The Cardinal and the Duke of Gloucester's men have filled their pockets full of pebble stones, and do pelt so fast at one another's pate that many have their giddy brains knocked out.
Who should study to prefer a peace if holy churchmen take delight in broils?
Yield, my lord protector, yield Winchester. You see what mischief hath been enacted upon your enmity? Then be at peace.
He shall submit, or I will never yield.
Compassion on the king commands me to stoop. Winchester, I offer thee thy hand.
Well, Duke of Gloucester, I will yield to thee. Love for love and hand for hand I give.
Aye, but I fear myself with a hollow heart.
Oh, loving uncle, kind Duke of Gloucester, how joyful am I made by this contract.
Dears, accept this scroll, most gracious sovereign, which, in the right of Richard Plantagenet, we do exhibit to your grace.
Well urged, Lord Warwick.
Our pleasure is that Richard be restored to his blood.
So shall his father's wrongs be recompensed.
If Richard will but true, not that alone, but all the whole inheritance that doth belong unto the house of York.
Thy humble servant vows obedience, and humble servants till the point of death.
Stoop then. I girt thee with the valiant sword of York. Rise, Richard, like a true Plantagenet, and rise created princely Duke of York.
Welcome, High Prince, the mighty Duke of York.
Welcome, High Prince, the mighty Duke of York.
Perish, base prince, ignoble Duke of York.
When will it best avail your majesty to be crowned?
When Gloucester says the word, King Henry goes, for friendly counsel cuts off many foes.
This late dissension grown betwixt the peers burns under faded ashes of forged love and will at last break out into a flame. And now I fear that fatal prophecy, that Henry named the fifth should win all, and Henry named the sixth should lose all, which is so plain that Exeter wishes thine his days may finish ere that hapless time.
Now run! I'll shake thy bulwarks to the ground. Good morrow, galleons. Want you corn for bread?
Oh, let no words but deeds revenge this treason.
What will you do, good graybeard?
Becomes it thee to taunt his valiant age, and twit with cowardice a man half dead? Damsel, I'll have a bout with thee again. Dare you come forth and meet us in the field?
Away, captains, let's get us from these walls. For Talbot means no goodness by his looks. We came but to tell you that we are here.
Thou, I swear to get this town or die. But ere we go, regard this dying prince, the valiant Duke of Bedford. Come, my lord, we will bestow you in some better place.
Lord Talbot, do not so dishonor me. Here I will sit before the walls of Rome and be partner of your weal or woe.
Undaunted spirit in a dying breast, then be it so. Heavens, keep old Bedford safe.
But where is Pusey now?
Lord Cardinal, set the crown upon the king's head.
God save King Henry, of that name the sixth.
God save the king.
Come hither, you that would be combatants. Henceforth I charge you, as you love our favor, quite to forget this quarrel in the cause. Let me be umpire in this doubtful strife. I see no reason, if I wear this rose, that anyone should therefore be suspicious I'm more inclined to Somerset than York. Both are my kinsmen, and I love them both. Cousin of York, we institute your grace to be our regent in these parts of France. And good my lord of Somerset, unite your troops of horsemen with his bands of foot. Go cheerfully together and digest your angry choler on your enemies.
I like it not that he wears the badge of Somerset.
Hush, that was but his fancy. I dare presume, sweet prince, he thought no harm.
And if it was he did, but let it rest. Other affairs must now be managed. A plague upon that villain Somerset that thus delays my promised supply of horses that were levied for this siege. Renowned Talbot doth expect my aid, and I am lauded by a traitor villain. If we miscarry, farewell wars in France.
Thou princely leader of our English strength, spur to the rescue of the noble Talbot. To Bordeaux, warlike Duke, to Bordeaux, York. Else farewell, Talbot, France, and England's honor.
Oh God, that Somerset glid proud heart doth stop my poor necks were in Talbot's place. We mourn, France smiles, we lose, they daily get, along of that vile traitor Somerset.
Then God take mercy on brave Talbot's soul, and on his son, young John, who in 2 hours since I have met in travel toward his warlike father.
Alas, what joy shall noble Talbot have to bid his young son welcome to his grave? Lucy, farewell. No more my fortune can but curse the cause I cannot aid today, long all of Somerset and his delay.
It is too late. I cannot send them now. This expedition was by York and Talbot too rashly plotted. York set him on to fight and die in shame.
And York is fast upon its grace exclaims.
York lies. I owe him little duty and less love. Come, go. I will dispatch the horsemen straight. Within 6 hours they will be at his aid.
Too late comes rescue. He is ta'en or slain.
If he be dead, brave Talbot, then adieu.
His fame lives in the world. His shame in you!
Oh, young John Talbot, I did send for thee to tutor thee in stratagems of war, but now thou art come unto a feast of death. Therefore, my dear boy, mount on my swiftest horse, and I'll direct thee how thou shalt escape by sudden flight. Come, dally not, be gone.
Is my name Talbot, and am I your son? And shall I fly? Oh, if you love my mother, dishonor not her honorable name. The world will say, he is not of Talbot's blood, that basely fled when noble Talbot stood.
Come, side by side, together, live and die.
die, and soul with soul from France to heaven fly. St. George and victory! Fight, soldiers, fight! Art thou not weary, John? Fly to revenge my death. If I today die, by me they nothing gain. 'Tis but the shortening of my life one day. In thee, thy mother dies, our household's name. All these are saved if thou wilt fly away.
Surely by all the glory you have won, and if I die, I am not Talbot's son. Now talk no more of flight, there is no boot. Descend to Talbot, die at Talbot's foot.
On what submissive message art thou sent?
Submission, Dauphin, 'tis a mere French word. We English warriors wot not what it means. I've come to survey the bodies of the dead, and to find what prisoners thou hast ta'en.
For prisoners, ask thou. Hell are prisoners. But tell me whom thou seekest.
Where is the valiant Lord Talbot, Earl of Shrewsbury, created for his rare success in arms, great marshal to King Henry VI?
Him that thou magnifiest with all these titles, stinking and flyborn lies here at our feet.
And from their ashes shall be reared a phoenix that shall make all of France appear.
And now to bury in this conquering name. All will be ours. Now bloody Talbot slain.
Be what thou wilt, thou art my prisoner. O fairest beauty, do not fear nor fly. Who art thou? Say that I may honor thee.
Margaret's my name, and daughter to a king.
And Earl I am, and Suffolk am I called. Be not offended, nature's miracle. Thou art allotted to be ta'en by me.
Say, Earl of Suffolk, if thy name be so, what ransom must I pay before I pass? For I perceive I am thy prisoner. Wilt thou accept of ransom, yea or no? I were best to leave him, for he will not hear.
I will win this Lady Margaret for my king, so peace may be established between these realms. But, though her father be the king of Naples, Duke of Maine and Anjou, yet is he poor, and our nobility will scorn the match.
He talks at random. Sure, the man is mad.
Henry is youthful, and will quickly yield. Sweet madam, give me hearing in a cause.
Perhaps I shall be rescued by the French, and then I need not crave his courtesy.
Say, gentle princess, would you not suppose your bondage happy? To be made a queen.
Ugh, to be a queen in bondage is vile, for princes should be free.
And so shall you, if happy England's royal king be free.
Why, what concerns his freedom unto me?
I'll undertake to make thee Henry's queen, to put a golden scepter in thy hand, and set a precious crown upon thy head. If thou wilt condescend to be my love.
What?
His love.
I am unworthy to be Henry's wife.
No, gentle madam. I unworthy am to woo so fair a dame to be his wife. How say you, madam? Are you so content?
And if my father please, I am content.
Then, madam, at your father's castle balls we'll crave a parley to confer with him. See, Rainier, see thy daughter prisoner.
Suffolk, what remedy?
Remedy enough, my lord. Consent that thy daughter shall be wedded to my king, who I with pain have wooed and won thereto. What answer makes your grace unto my suit?
My daughter shall be Henry's, if he please.
Rainier of France, I give thee kingly thanks.
Farewell, my lord. Good wishes, praise, and prayers shall Suffolk ever have of Margaret.
Oh, wert thou for myself! But Suffolk, stay. Solicit Henry with her wondrous praise. Bethink thee on her virtues that surmount and natural graces that extinguish art. Repeat their semblance often on the seas, that, when thou comest to kneel at Henry's feet, thou mayst bereave him of his wits with wonder.
Bring forth that sorceress condemned to burn, for she hath lived too long to fill the world with vicious qualities.
First, let me tell you whom you have condemned. Not one begotten of a shepherd's wing, but virtuous and old, chosen from above to work exceeding miracles on earth. Not misconceive it. Juno's act hath been chaste and immaculate in very thought. I will cry for vengeance at the gates of heaven.
Aye, away with her to execution.
Will nothing turn your unrelenting hearts? Then lead me hence, to whom I leave my curse. May never glorious sun reflect his beams upon this country we make abode, but darkness and the gloomy sin of death invite you until mischief and despair drive you to break your necks and hang yourselves.
Consumed to ashes, thou foul cursed minister of hell.
Lord Regent, I do to your excellency letters of commission from the king. For know, my lords, he implored a general peace betwixt our nation and the aspiring French.
Since it is thus agreed that peaceful truce shall be proclaimed in France, we come to be informed what the conditions of that league must be.
Charles and the rest, King Henry gives consent to ease your country of distressful war, and that you shall become true liegemen to the crown. And Charles, thou wilt swear to pay him tribute, and to submit thyself. Thou shalt be placed under viceroy under him, and still enjoy thy regal dignity.
Claim allegiance to your majesty.
How sayest thou, Charles? Shall our conditions stand?
It shall.
Then dismiss your army, let your drums be still, for here we entertain a solemn peace.
Your wondrous rare description, noble Earl of beauteous Margaret, hath astonished me. Her virtues graced with external gifts do breed love settles passions in my heart.
this superficial tale is but a preface of her worthy praise, and, which is more, she is content to love and honor Henry as her lord.
My Lord Protector, give consent that Margaret may be England's royal queen.
Wait, what is Margaret?
Her father is a king of Naples and Jerusalem, and of such great authority in France, as his alliance will confirm our peace and keep the Frenchmen in allegiance.
Besides, what dower?
A dower? My lords, disgrace not so your king that he should choose for wealth and not for perfect love. And therefore, lords, since he affects her, in our opinion she should be preferred. Who should we match with Henry, being a king, but Margaret that is daughter to a king? Her valiant courage and undaunted spirit, more than in woman commonly is seen, will answer our hope in issue of a king. Then yield, my lords, and here conclude with me that Margaret shall be queen, and none but she.
My Lord of Suffolk, I am assured. Post to France and procure Lady Margaret to cross the seas to England and be crowned King Henry's faithful and anointed queen.
Thus Suffolk hath prevailed, and thus he goes with hope to find the like events in love. Margaret shall now be queen and rule the king, but I will rule both her, the king, and the realm.
Welcome, Queen Margaret. Lords, with one cheerful voice, welcome my love.
Long live Queen Margaret, England's happiness. We thank you all.
My Lord Protector, so it please your grace, here are the articles of contracted peace between our sovereign and the French King Charles.
Implement. It is agreed between the French King Charles and William de la Pole, Marquis of Suffolk, ambassador for Henry, King of England, that the said Henry shall impose the Lady Margaret, daughter unto Regale, King of Naples, Sicily, and Jerusalem, and crown her Queen of England.
Uncle, how now?
Pardon, my lord. Some sudden qualm has struck me at the heart that I can no longer read.
Uncle of Winchester, I pray read on.
Item. It is further agreed between them that the duchies of Anjou and Maine shall be released and delivered to the king her father, and she sent over of England's own proper costs and charges without having any dowry.
They please us well. Lord Marquess, kneel down. We here create thee the first Duke of Suffolk. Come, let us in, and with all speed provide to see her coronation be performed.
Brave peers of England, I must unload my grief to you. Did my brother Henry spend his youth, his valor, his coin, and his people in this war to conquer France, his true inheritance? And should all that honor be lost? Brave peers of England, fatal this marriage, undoing all that's ever been done.
Nephew, what means this passionate discourse? France is ours, and we will keep it still.
But now it is impossible that we should. Suffolk, the new made Duke of the Roost, have given the Duchy of Anjou and Maine upon the poor King Regnier.
These counties were the keys of Normandy. For wherefore would Warwick, my valiant son?
For grief that they are past recovery. Anjou and Maine myself did win them both, and are the cities that I got with wounds delivered up again with peaceful words?
Suffolk dims the honor of this warlike isle. England's kings have had large sums of gold and dowries with their wives, and he gives away his own to match with him that brings no vantages.
And the proper jest that Suffolk should demand coin in charge for transporting her. She should have stayed in France and starved.
Now, Gloucester, you grow too...
Mind, Lord Winchester! 'Tis not my speech that you dismiss light, but 'tis my presence that trouble you. Rancour thou, proud prelate, I see thy fury in thy face. If I was to stay any longer, we would begin our ancient bickering once more. Lordings, farewell! In saying you this, I prophesied that France would be lost ere long! Ah!
So there goes our protector in a rage. 'Tis known to you, he is mine enemy, and no great friend. I fear me to the king. He is heir apparent and next in line to the English crown. Be wise and circumspect. Word he may be found a dangerous protector.
Why should he then protect our sovereign, if he be of age to govern himself?
This weighty...
Join you with me, and together we will quickly hoist Duke Humphrey from his seat.
This weighty business must not proflay. I'll to the Duke of Suffolk presently.
Pride went before, ambition follows him. While these do labor for their own preferment, behooves it us to labor for the realm. Warwick, my son, join we together in what we can for the public good to bridle and suppress the pride of Suffolk and the Cardinal, with Somerset and Buckingham's ambition. And, as we may, cherish Duke Humphrey's deeds, while they do tend to the profit of the land.
So God help Warwick as he loves the land and common profit of his country.
And so says York. For he hath greatest cause. Anjou and Maine are given to the French, Paris is lost, and our King Henry is well pleased to change 2 dukes for a fair duke's daughter. His thine he gives away, not his own. The day shall come when York will claim the lands, and when I spy advantage, claim the crown, for that's the golden mark I seek to pay. Till then, York, be still a while, till time do serve, and I will raise aloft the milk-white groves, and force per force I'll make him yield the crown, whose bookish rule hath pulled fair England down.
Why doth the great Duke Humphrey knit his brows? What seest thou there? King Henry's diadem, encased with all the honors of the world? If so, then gaze on until thy head be circled with the same.
Oh now, banish the canker of ambitious thoughts. My dreams this night doth make me sad.
Methought I sat in seat of majesty in the cathedral church of Westminster, and in that chair where kings and queens were crowned, and on my head did set the diadem.
Art thou not second woman to the realm, and the protector's wife, beloved of him? And will thou not tumble thy husband and thyself from top of honors to disgrace's feet?
Next time I'll keep my dreams unto myself and not be checked.
Come now, wilt thou ride with us?
Yes, my good lord, I'll follow presently. Follow I must. I cannot go before while Gloucester bears this base and humble mind. Were I a man, a duke, and next of blood, I would remove these tedious stumbling blocks and smooth my way upon their headless necks. And being a woman, I will not be slack to play my part in fortune's pageant. Where are you there? Sir John? Nay, fear not, man. Here's none but thee and I.
Jesus preserve your royal majesty.
What sayest thou, majesty? I am but grace.
But by the grace of God and Hume's advice, your grace's title shall be multiplied.
What sayest thou? Hast thou as yet conferred with Margaret Jourdain, the cunning witch, with Roger Bolingbroke, the conjurer? And will they undertake to do me good?
This they have promised.
It is enough. When from St. Albans we do make return, we'll see these things effected to the full. Here, Hume, take this reward.
Dame Eleanor gives gold to bring the wish. Gold cannot come amiss. Yet have I gold from the rich Cardinal and the new-made Duke of Suffolk. They have hired me to be the Duchess's wrath, and her attainture will be Humphrey's fall. Sort how it will, I shall have gold for all.
Shall Henry be a pupil still under the surly Gloucester's governance? Am I a queen in title and in style, and must be made subject to a duke? King Henry's mind is bent to holiness. I would the college of the cardinals would choose him pope and carry him to Rome and set the triple crown upon his head. That were a state fit for his holiness.
Madam, be patient.
Besides the haughty protector, have we Beaufort, the imperious churchman, Somerset, Buckingham, and the crumbling York, and not the least of these but can do more in England than the king.
Salisbury and Warwick are no simple peers.
Not all these lords do vex me half so much as that proud dame, the Lord Protector's wife. Shall I not live to be avenged on her?
Madam, myself have lined the bush for her, and she will never trouble you again. So let her rest. And madam, list to me. Though we fancy not the cardinal, yet must we join with him and with the lords till we have brought Duke Humphrey in disgrace. So, one by one, we'll weed them all at last, and you yourself shall steer the happy helm.
For my part, noble lords, I cannot which, or Somerset or York, all's one to me.
Why should Somerset be preferred in this? Because the king, forsooth, shall have it so.
Madam, the king is old enough to give himself censure. These are no woman's matters.
If he be old enough, what needs your praise to be protector of his excellence?
Madam, I am protector of this realm, and at his will I will resign my place.
Resign it then, and leave thine insolence.
The commons hath thou racked, the clergy bags are lank and lean with thy extortion.
Thy sumptuous buildings and thy wife's attire have cost a mass of public treasury.
Thy sales of offices and towns in France, if they were known as the suspect is great, would make thee quickly hop without thy head. Give me my fare. What, minion, can you not? Oh! I cry you mercy, madam. Was it you?
Was it I? Yea, I it was, proud Frenchwoman. Could I come near your beauty with my nails, I'd set my 10 commandments in your face.
Sweet aunt, be quiet. 'Twas against her will.
Against her will, good king. Look to it in time, she shall not strike Dame Eleanor unrevenged.
Lord Cardinal, I will follow Eleanor. She is tickled now. Her fume needs no spurs. She'll gallop far enough to her destruction.
Now, my lords, with my choler being overblown after walking once the quadrangle, I've come to talk of commonweal affairs. As for your faultful, spite objections, prove me guilty, and I will lie open to the law. But God may be the final judge of my soul. Now, to the matter we have at hand. In my sovereign, I believe that York is the meetiest man to be regent over France.
Before we make election, give me leave to show of no little force that York is most unmeet of any man.
I'll tell thee why I am unmeet, for I cannot flatter thee in pride.
Because there is a man accused of treason. His words were these, that Richard, Duke of York, was rightful heir unto the English crown, and that your majesty was a usurper.
Uncle, what shall we say to this in law?
Let Somerset be regent over France, for this breeds suspicion in York. This is the law, and this is Duke Humphrey's due.
I humbly thank your royal majesty.
Come, Somerset, we'll see thee sent away.
Master Hume, we are therefore provided. Will her ladyship behold and hear our exorcisms?
Aye, what else? Fear you not her courage.
Master Hume, you be by her aloft, while we be busy below. Go in, Mother Georgiane. See you prostrate and grovel on the earth, and let us to our work.
As Matt, by whose name and power thou tremblest at, answer that I shall ask, for till thou speak thou shalt not pass from hence. Ask what thou wilt that I had said and done.
First of the king, what shall with him become?
The Duke yet lives that Henry shall depose.
What fates await the Duke of Suffolk?
By water shall he die and take his hand.
What fates await the Duke of Somerset?
Arrest these traitors and their trash. What, madam, are you there? The king and my lord protector will, I doubt it not, see you well burdened for these good deserts.
Injurious Duke, that threat swears no cause.
True, madam, none at all. What call you this? Away with them! You, madam, shall with us.
Lord Buckingham, methinks you watch them well. A pretty plot, well chosen to build upon. Now, my good lord, let's see the devil's writ. What have we here? Thither goes these news as fast as horse can carry them. Sorry breakfast for my lord protector.
Your grace shall give me leave, my lord of York, to be the post in hope of his reward.
At your pleasure.
What tidings with our cousin Buckingham?
Such as my heart doth tremble to unfold, of Lady Eleanor, the protector's wife, hath practiced dangerously against your state, dealing with witches and with conjurers, of whom we have apprehended in the fact, demanding of King Henry's life and death, and others in his highness's privy council, as more at large your grace shall understand.
This news, I think, hath turned your weapon's edge. 'Tis like my lord, you will not keep your hour.
Ambitious churchman, leave thy afflict my heart. For sorrow and grief have vanquished my powers, and vanquished as I am, I yield to thee.
Oh, what mischief works the wicked ones, heaping confusion on their own heads thereby.
Gloucester, see here the tainture of thy nest, and look thyself be faultless, thou wert best.
Madam, for myself to heaven I do appeal. Oh, how I've loved my king in common weal. And for my wife, I do not know how it stands. Noble she is, but she has forgotten such things as honor and virtue, and conversed with such pitches as defile nobility. Then I will banish her from my betting company, and give her as prey to law and shame, for dishonoring Gloucester's honest name.
We will look into this business thoroughly, and call these foul offenders to their answers, and poise the cause and justice equal scales, whose beam stands sure, whose rightful cause prevails.
Warwick. Our supper ended. Give me leave to satisfy myself in craving your opinion of my title, which is infallible to England's crown.
My lord, I long to hear it at full.
Sweet York, begin, and if thy claim be true, the Nevilles are thy subject to command.
Then thus, Edward III, my lords, had many sons. The first, Edward the Black Prince, Prince of Wales. The second, William of Hatfield. And the third, Lionel, Duke of Clarence, next to whom was John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. The fifth was Edmund Langley, Duke of York. Edward the Black Prince died before his father and left behind him Richard, his only son, who, after his father's death, claimed the crown till Henry Bolingbroke, crowned by Henry IV, seized on the realm, deposed the rightful king, where, as you all know, harmless Richard was murdered traitorously.
Thou hast got the house of Lancaster, the crown,
which now they hold by force and not by right.
William of Hatfield died without an heir.
The third son, Lionel, Duke of Clarence, from whose line I claim the crown, had issue Philippa, a daughter, who married Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Philippa had issue Roger, Earl of March. Roger had issue Edmund, Anne, and Ellen.
This Edmund laid claim to the crown and had been king, but was kept in captivity till he died.
His eldest sister, Anne, my mother, being heir unto the crown, married Richard, Earl of Cambridge, who was eldest son to Edmund Langley. By her I claim the crown. She was heir. So, if the issue of the elder son succeed before the younger, I am king.
Henry doth claim the crown from John of Gaunt, the fourth son. York claims it from the third. So then, Father Salisbury, kneel we together, and in this private plot be we the first to salute our rightful sovereign, with honor to his birthright, the crown.
Long live our sovereign Richard,
England's king.
I thank you, lords, but I am not your king till I be crowned, until my sword be stained with the heart blood of the house of Lancaster. Do you, as I do in these dangerous days, wink at the Duke of Suffolk's insolence, at Beaufort's pride, at Somerset's ambition, till they have snared the shepherd of the flock, the good Duke Humphrey, and they, in seeking that, shall find their deaths if York can prophesy.
My lord, break we off. We know your mind at full.
My heart assures me that the Earl of Warwick will make the Duke of York king.
In this, Neville, I do assure myself, Richard shall live to make the Earl of Warwick the greatest man in England, but the king.
Stand forth in sight of God and us. Receive the sentence of the law, such as by God's book are judged to death. You two from hence to the place of execution. The witch in Smithfield shall be burnt to ashes, and you shall be strangled on the gallows. You, madam, for you are more nobly born, shall after 3 days open penance done, live in here in banishment on the Isle of Man.
Welcome is banishment. Welcome were my death.
My eyes are full of tears, my heart full of grief. I beseech your majesty, give me leave to go.
Stay, Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, ere thou go, give up thy staff. Henry will to himself protector be, and God shall be my hope. And go in peace, good Humphrey, no less beloved than when thou wert protector to thy king.
God and King Henry govern England's realm. Give up your staff, sir, and the king his crown.
My staff. Here, noble Henry, is my staff. As willingly as I do resign, as your father Henry made it mine. Farewell, good king. And when I'm dead and gone, may honorable peace attend thy throne.
Why,
Now is Henry king and Margaret's queen. The staff of honor wrought. There, let it stand, where it best fits to be, in Henry's hand.
Ten was the hour given to me to watch the coming of my punished duchess. But soft, I think she comes.
Come you, my lord, to see my open shame? Look how they gaze. See how the giddy multitude do point. Ah, Gloucester, hide thee from their hateful looks.
Be patient, gentle Nell. Forget this grief.
Ah, Gloucester, teach me to forget myself. Methinks I should not thus be led along and followed with a rabble that rejoice to see my tears and hear my deep-fetched groans. But be thou mild, and blush not at my shame, nor stir at nothing, till the axe of death hang over thee, as sure it shortly will. For sucking, he that can do all in all, with her that hateth thee and hates us all, and York and impious Beaufort, that false priest, have all lined bushes to betray thy ways, and fly thou how thou canst. They'll tangle thee.
All this cannot procure me an escape. So long as I am loyal, true, and crimeless, I exhort thy hearts to patience. These few days wonder will be quickly worn.
I summon your grace to his majesty's parliament.
My Nell, I take my leave. And Master Stanley, do not let the king's penance exceed her commission.
Oh, I am given in charge, may it please your grace.
Art thou gone too? All comfort go with thee, for none abides with me. My joy is death. Death at whose name I oft have been afeared, because I wished this world's eternity.
Madam, your penance done. Throw off this sheet and go we to attire you for our journey.
My shame will not be shifted with my sheet. No, it will hang upon my richest robes, and show itself attire me how I came. Go, lead the way. I long to see my prison.
I muse my lord of Gloucester is not come. 'Tis not his wont to be the hindmost man, whate'er occasion keeps him from us now.
Can you not see, or will you not observe, the strangeness of his altered countenance? He knits his brow and shows an angry eye, and pacified with stiff unbowed knee, disdaining duty that to us belongs. My lords of Suffolk, Buckingham, and York, reproof my allegations if you can, or else conclude my words effectual.
We have. My sovereign, Gloucester is a man unsounded yet, and full of deep deceit.
Did he not, contrary form of law, devise strange deaths for small offences done?
And did he not, in his protectorship, levy great sums of money through the realm for soldiers' pay in France, but never sent it, by means whereof the towns each day revolted?
Tut! These are petty faults to faults unknown, which time will bring to light and smooth if you come free.
My lords, our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent from meaning treason to our royal person as is the sucking lamb our harmless dove. The Duke is virtuous, mild, and too well given to dream on evil or to work my downfall.
Ah, what's more dangerous than this fondness? Seems he a dove? Is he a lamb? His skin is shortly lent him, for he's inclined as are the ravenous wolves. Take heed, my lords, the welfare of us all hangs on the cutting short that fraudful man.
All health unto my gracious sovereign.
Welcome, Lord Somerset. What news from France?
That all your interest in those territories is utterly bereft you. All is lost.
Cold news, Lord Somerset. But God's will be done.
Old news for me, for I have hope of France.
Health and happiness unto the king. Pardon, my liege, that I've stayed for so long.
Nay, Gloucester, know that thou art come too soon, unless thou wert more loyal than thou art. I do arrest you of high treason here.
Well, Suffolk, thou shalt not see me blush, nor change the countenance in this arrest. For I am clear of treason in my sovereign. Who can accuse me? Where am I guilty?
'Tis thought, my lord, that being victor, you took bribes of France and stayed the soldiers' pay, by means whereof his highness hath lost France.
Is it but thought so? What are they that think it? I have never robbed the soldiers of the pay, nor taken 1 penny bribe from France. No, more of a pound of my own proper store. I would never tax the needy commons. I have dispersed the garrisons and never asked the restitution.
My lord, I do arrest you in his highness's name, and here commit you to my lord Cardinal to keep until further time of trial.
My Lord of Gloucester, 'tis my special hope that you will clear yourself from all suspense. My conscience tells me you are innocent.
Ah, gracious Lord, these days are dangerous. Virtue is choked by foul ambition. I know their complot is to have my life, and if my death will make this island happy, I will expend it with all willingness. But mine is made the prologue to their play.
My liege, his railing is intolerable.
Lord Cardinal, he is your prisoner.
Sirs, take away the Duke and guard him shore.
No!
My lord, what to your wisdom seemeth best, do or undo, as if ourself were here.
What, will your highness leave the Parlement?
Aye, Margaret, my heart is drowned with grief, for what's more miserable than discontent? Ah, Uncle Humphrey, in thy face I see the map of honor, truth, and loyalty. And yet, good Humphrey, is the hour to come that ere I proved thee false or feared thy fate. Even so myself bewails good Gloucester's case, with sad unhelpful tears and with dimmed eyes look after him, and cannot do him good. So mighty are his vowed enemies. His fortunes I will weep, and twixt each groan say, who's a traitor? Gloucester, he is none.
Henry, my lord, is too full of foolish pity, and Gloucester's show beguiles him. Believe me, lords, were none more wise than I, and yet herein I judge my own wit good, this Gloucester should be quickly rid the world, to rid us of the fear we have of him.
That he should die is worthy policy, but that he should be damned by course of law.
Sleeping or waking, 'tis no matter how, so he be dead.
'Tis resolutely spoke.
Not resolute, except so much were done, but that my heart accordeth with my tongue. Seeing the deed is meritorious, and to preserve my sovereign from his foe, say but a word, and I will be his priest.
Say you consent and censure well the deed, and I'll provide his executioner, for the safety of my liege.
Here is my hand. The deed is worth doing.
And so say I.
And I. And now we four have spoken, it skills not greatly who impugns our doom.
The day is almost spent. Lord Suffolk, you and I must talk of this event.
Call our uncle to our presence straight. Say we intend to try his grace today.
I'll call him presently, my noble lord.
Lords, take your places, and I pray you all proceed no straighter against our uncle Gloucester, than from true evidence of good esteem he be approved and practice culpable.
God forbid any malice should prevail that faultless may condemn a nobleman. Pray God he may acquit him of suspicion.
I thank thee, Meg. These words content me much. How now? Why lookest thou pale? Why tremblest thou? Where's our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk?
Dead in his bed, my lord. Gloucester is dead.
Where he God for friend? How fares my lord? Help, Lord Seeking is dead!
Rear up his body. Bring him by the nose.
Run! Go! Help! Help! Oh, Henry, open thine eyes.
Doth revive again, madam. Be patient.
Oh, heavenly God.
How fares my gracious lord?
Comfort! Gracious Henry, comfort!
What? Doth Suffolk comfort me? Hide not thy poison with such sugared words. Forbear, I say, out of my sight!
Why do you write my lord of Suffolk thus? Although the duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death. What? Dost thou turn away and hide thy face? I am no loathsome leper. Look on me. Ay me, I can no more.
It is reported, mighty sovereign, that the good Duke Humphrey traitorously is murdered by Suffolk and the Cardinal Beaufort's means. The commons, like an angry hive of bees that want their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting to enact his revenge. Myself have calmed their gleeful mutiny. That is, until they hear how came Gloucester's death.
That he is dead, good Warwick, 'tis too true. But how he died, God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and comment then upon his sudden death.
That shall I do, my liege. Stay Salisbury with the rude multitude till I return.
O thou that judgest all things, stay my thoughts that labor to persuade my soul. Some violent hands were laid on Humphrey's life. If my suspect be false, forgive me, God, for judgment only doth belong to thee.
I do believe that violent hands were laid upon this thrice famed duke.
What instance gives Lord Warwick?
I saw how the blood was settled in his face. Oft have I seen a timely parted ghost, of ashy semblance, meager, pale, and bloodless. But his face was black and full of blood, his eyeballs farther out than when he lived, staring full ghastly like a strangled man, his hair upreared and his nostrils flared with struggling. It cannot be but he was murdered.
Why, Warwick, who should do the Duke to death? Myself and Beaufort had him in protection. And we, I hope, sir, are no murderers.
And yet, both of you were vowed Duke Humphrey's foes.
Then you be like suspect these noblemen as guilty of Duke Humphrey's timeless death?
Even so, suspicious is this tragedy.
Say if thou darest, proud lord of Warwickshire, that I am faulty in Duke Humphrey's death.
Away even now, or I will drag thee hence, unworthy though thou art. I'll cope with thee and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost.
What noise is this?
Why, how now, lords, your wrathful weapons drawn here in our presence.
Sirs, stand apart. The king shall know your mind. Dread lord, the commons send you word by me. Unless Lord Suffolk straight be done to death or banished fair England's territories, they will by violence tear him from your palace and torture him with grievous lingering death. They say by him the good Duke Humphrey died. They say in him they fear your highness's death, and that they will guard you where you will or no from such fell serpents as false Suffolk is.
'Tis like the commons. Rude, unpolished hinds could send such a message to their sovereign. You, my lord, were glad to be employed to show how quite an orator you are.
Go, Salisbury. Tell them all from me. I thank them for their tender love and care. For sure my thoughts do hourly prophecy, mischance unto my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore by his majesty I swear, whose far unworthy deputy I am, he shall not breathe infection in this air but 3 days longer on the pain of death.
Oh, Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk.
Ungentle queen, to call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say. If thou dost plead for him, thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. If after 3 days' space thou here beest found on any ground I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransom for thy life. Come, Lord, go with me. I have great matters to impart.
Mischance and sorrow go along with you, heart's discontent and sour affliction.
Cease! Gentle queen, these execrations, let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave.
Fie, hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemy?
Well, could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport.
Get thee gone, that I may know my grief. I will repeal thee, or be well assured, and venture to be banished myself. Come, speak it unto me, even now be gone. Oh, go not yet. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee.
'Tis not the land I care for, wert thou thence. A wilderness is populous enough, so Suffolk had thy heavenly company.
Whither goes Buckingham so fast? What news, I prithee?
To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death, I'm sent to tell his majesty.
Go, tell this heavy message to the king. Ay me, what news is this? What world is this? Go, even now, be gone. The king, thou knowest, is coming. If thou art found by me, thou art but dead.
If I depart from thee, I could not live. Here I could breathe my soul into the air. To die by thee were but to die in jest. From me to die were torture more than death. Let me stay, befall what may befall.
Away! To France, sweet Suffolk. And let me hear from thee.
I go.
And take my heart with thee.
Even as a splitted bark, so sunder we. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
How fares, my lord? Speak, Beaufort, to thy sovereign.
Beaufort, it is thy sovereign speech to thee.
Oh, tiding on his bed. Where should he die? Oh, torture me no more, I will confess.
Peace to his soul, if God's good pleasure be. Lord Cardinal, if thou thinkest on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand, make signal of thy hope. He dies and makes no sign. Oh God, forgive him.
So bad a death argues a monstrous life.
Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Come, let us to meditation.
Dear Margaret.
Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind and makes it fearful and degenerate. Think therefore on revenge, and cease to weep.
Why, how now, madam? Still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death? I fear me, love, that if I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me.
No, my love, I should not mourn, but die for thee.
Was ever king that joyed in earthly throne and could command no more content than I? No sooner was I crept out of my cradle, but I was made a king at 9 months old. Was never subject, long to be a king as I do long and wish to be a subject.
Please it your grace, the Duke of York has come, and with a mighty power is marching his arms, only to remove from thee the Duke of Somerset, whom he terms a traitor.
Thus stands my state. I pray thee, Buckingham, go and meet him, and ask him what's the reason of these harms. Tell him I'll send Duke Somerset to the Tower until his army be dismissed from him.
My lord, I'll yield myself to prison willingly, or unto death to do my country good.
I go, my lord.
Come, wife, let's in, and learn to govern better. For yet may England curse my wretched reign.
York comes to claim his right and pluck the feeble crown from Henry's head. Ring bells to entertain great England's lawful king.
York, I greet from thee, from Henry, our dread liege, to know the reason of these arms in peace.
The cause why I have brought this army hither is to remove proud Somerset from the state, seditious to the grace and the king.
That is too much presumption on thy part. But if thy arms be to no other end, the king hath yielded unto thy demand. The Duke of Somerset is in the Tower.
Upon mine honor, is he prisoner?
Upon mine honor, he is prisoner.
Then, Buckingham, I do dismiss my powers, and let my sovereign virtuous Henry command as willing as I will.
York, I commend this kind submission. We twain will go into his highness's tent.
Buckingham, doth York intend no harm to us, that thus he marcheth with thee?
In all submission and humility, York doth present himself unto your highness.
Then what intends these forces thou dost bring?
To remove the traitor Somerset from hence.
4,000 Yorks he shall not hide his head.
How now? Is Somerset at liberty? Then, York, unloose thy long imprisoned thoughts, and let thy tongue be equal with thy heart. False king, why hast thou broken faith with me? King did I call thee? No, thou art not king, not fit to govern and rule multitudes, which durst not, no, nor canst not rule a traitor. That head of thine doth not become a crown. That gold must round and girt these brows of mine. Give place. By heaven, he shall rule no more over him whom heaven created for thy ruler.
O monstrous traitor, I arrest thee, York, of capital treason against the king and crown. Obey, audacious traitor. Kneel for grace.
Wouldst have me kneel? Sir, I'll call on my sons to be my bear.
Call he Sir Clifford, to say if that the bastard boys of York shall be the severity for their traitor father.
O blood-bespotted Neapolitan, England's bloody scourge, the sons of York, thy betters in their birth, shall be their father's bale. See where they come, a warrant they'll make it good.
And here comes Clifford to deny their bail.
All health and happiness unto the king.
I thank thee, Clifford. Say what news with thee. Nay, do not fright us with an angry look. I am thy sovereign, Clifford. Kneel again, for thy mistaking so we pardon thee.
This is my king, York. I do not mistake it, but thou mistakest to think I do. He is a traitor, Take him away to the tower and chop away this fattish pate.
He is arrested, but will not
No.
obey. His sons, he says, shall give their words for him.
Will you not, sons?
Aye, noble father, if our words will serve.
And if words will not, then our weapons shall.
Oh, what a brood of traitors we have here.
Look in a glass and call thy image so. I am thy king, and thou a false heart traitor. Call hither to the stake my two brave bears, bid Salisbury and Warwick come to me.
Are these thy bears? I'll bait thy bears to death.
You oppose yourself to match, Lord.
Silence! You foul, indigested lump, as crooked in thy manner as thy spine.
Why, Warwick, hath thy knee forgot to bow? Old Salisbury, shame to thy silver hair, thou mad misleader of thy brain-sick son. Oh, where is faith? Where is loyalty?
My lord, I have considered with myself the title of this most renowned duke, and in my conscience do repute his grace, the rightful heir to England's royal seat.
I am resolved for death or dignity.
Oh, the first I warrant thee, if dreams prove as true.
And so do arms rebels. That's more than thou canst tell.
If not in heaven, you'll surely suck in hell.
Clifford of Cumberland! 'Tis Warwick calls, and if thou wilt not show thee to the bear, Clifford, I say, come fight with me, oh proud northern lord! Warwick is hoarse with calling thee to arms!
Help one or both of us.
The time has come!
Hold, Warwick! Seek thee out some other chase, for I myself must hunt this deer to death.
Then nobly, York, 'tis for a crown thou fights!
Ah! 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 Ah!
Thus war hath given thee peace, for thou art still. Peace with his soul, heaven, if it be thy will.
Oh, let the vile world end. Was thou ordained, dear father, to die in ruffian battle? Meet I, an infant in the house of York, and cruelty? Why, sit down my face!
Margaret, stay!
What are you made of? You'll nor fight, nor fly!
Away, my lord, away!
Salisbury, who can report of him, thou winter lion? This happy day is not itself if Salisbury be lost.
Now, by my sword, well hast thou fought today?
By the mass, so did we all. I thank you, Richard. 3 times today you have defended me from imminent death. Well, lords, 'tis not enough our foes are this time fled.
Let us pursue. What says Lord Warwick? Shall we after them?
After them. Nay, before them if we can. Now, by my hand, lords, was a glorious day. St. Albans battle won by famous York shall be eternized for all age to come. Sound drum and trumpet, and to London all, and more such days like these to us befall.
Here holds her parliament by words or blows. Here let us win our right.
The bloody parliament shall this be called, unless Plantagenet, Duke of York, take the throne. Resolve thee, Richard, take the English crown.
Thou factious Duke of York, descend my throne and kneel for grace and mercy at my feet. I am thy sovereign.
I am thine.
For shame come down, he made thee Duke of York.
It was my inheritance as the earldom was.
Be Duke of Lancaster, let him be king.
Confirm the crown to me and mine heirs.
What title hast thou, traitor, to the crown? I'm son of Henry V, and Henry IV by conquest got the crown.
'Twas by rebellion against his king.
I know not what to say, my title's weak.
What then?
Richard, in the view of many lords, resigns the crown to Henry IV, whose heir my father was, and I am his.
No, for he could not so resign his crown but that the next heir should succeed in reign.
Art thou against us, Duke of Exeter?
His is the right, and therefore pardon me. My conscience tells me he is lawful king.
King Henry, whether that title be right or wrong, Lord Clifford vows to fight.
O Clifford, how thy words revive my heart. Let me for this my lifetime reign as king.
Confirm the crown to me and mine heirs, and thou can reign in quiet while thou livest.
I am content. Richard Plantagenet, enjoy the kingdom after my decease.
What news is this unto the prince your son? I will to the queen to tell this news.
I hear and tell the crown to thee and thine heirs forever. Conditionally, here thou take an oath to cease this civil war, and whilst I live, to honor me as thy king and sovereign, and not to seek to put me down and reign thyself.
This oath I willingly take and will perform.
Long live King Henry!
And long live thou and these thy forward sons.
Now York and Lancaster are reconciled. Farewell, gracious lord, all to my castle.
And I'll keep London with my soldiers.
And I with grief and sorrow to the court.
Here comes the queen who looks foray her anger.
I'll steal away.
Nay, go not from me.
Be patient, gentle queen, and I shall stay.
Who can be patient in such extremes? Ah, wretched man, would I had died a maid and never seen thee, never borne thee son, seeing thou hast proved so unnatural a father. Hast he deserved to lose his birthright thus? Hadst thou loved him half so well as I, thou wouldst not have disinherited thine only son.
Father, you cannot disinherit me. If you be king, why should I not succeed?
Pardon me, Margaret. Pardon me, sweet son. The Earl of Warwick and the Duke enforced me.
Enforced thee? Art thou king and wilt be forced? Ah, timorous wretch, I shame to hear thee speak. Thou hast undone thyself, thy son, and me. Had I been there, which am a silly woman, these soldiers should have tossed me on their pikes before I would have granted to that act. But thou prefers thy life before thine honor. And seeing thou dost, I here divorce myself, Henry, both
from thy table and thy bed, until that act of Parliament be repealed whereby my son is disinherited. The northern lords that have forsworn thy colors will follow mine to thy foul disgrace. Come, son, let's away. Our army is ready.
The queen with all the northern earls and lords intend here to besiege you in your castle. She is hard by with 20,000 men, and therefore fortify your hold, my lord.
I with my sword. What? Thinkst thou that we fear them?
A woman's general, what should we fear? I hear their drums. Let's issue forth and bid them battle straight.
The army of the queen have got the field, and I am faint, and cannot fly my fury. The sands are numbered that makes up my life. Here must I stay. Here my life must end.
Come, make him stand upon this small field here. What? Was it you that should be England's king? Where are your mess of sons to back you now? The wanton Edward, and the lusty George, and where's that valiant crookback prodigy, Dicky, your boy, or your darling Rutland? Look, York, I stained this napkin with Rutland's blood, and if thine eyes can water for his death, I give thee this to dry thy cheeks withal. What? Not a tear can fall for Rutland's death? Oh, York cannot speak unless he wears a crown for York. Aye, marry, sir, now looks he like a king. Off with the crown, and with the crown his head, and whilst we breathe, take time to do him dead.
That is my office, for my father's sake.
Nay, stay, let's hear the orisons he makes.
She-wolf of France, O tiger's heart wrapped in a woman's hide, how couldst thou drain the lifeblood of a child to bid his father wipe his eyes withal, and yet be seen to bear a woman's face? Take the napkin and go boast of this, and if thou tell'st the heavy story right, the hearers will shed tears. Take the crown, and with the crown, my curse. Hard-hearted Clifford, take me from the world, my soul to heaven, my blood upon your heads.
This is for my oath, and this is for my father's death.
And here's to right our gentle-hearted king.
York.
Royal commanders, be in readiness, for with a band of 30,000 men comes Warwick backing Edward, now the Duke of York, and in the towns as they do march along proclaims him king, and many fly to him.
So, Clifford, now that I've singled you alone, suppose this is for Rutland, and this is for the noble Duke, my father, both bound in revenge, weren't thou embrazen in an iron wall.
This is the hand that stabbed thy father York, and this is the hand that slew thy brother Rutland. And so, have at thee!
Some troops, pursue the bloody mighty queen.
And now to London with triumphant march, there to be crowned England's royal king. And whence shall Warwick cut the sea to France and ask the lady Bona for thy queen?
Even as thou wilt, sweet Warwick. Brother Richard, I will create thee Duke of Gloucester and George of Clarence. Brother of Gloucester, at St. Albans Field this lady's husband, Sir Richard Grey, was slain. Her suit is now to repossess those lands, which we in justice cannot well deny. Because in quarrel of the House of York, the worthy gentleman did lose his life.
Your Highness shall do well to grant her suit. It were dishonor to deny it her.
Widow, we will consider of your suit. How many children hast thou, widow? Tell me.
3, my most gracious lord.
You shall have 4 if you'll be ruled by him. 'Twere a pity they should lose their father's lands.
Be pitiful, dread lord, and grant it then.
What service wilt thou do me if I give them?
What you command that rests in me to do.
An easy task. 'Tis but to love a king.
'Tis easily performed, as I am thy subject.
Why so? Then thy husband's lands I freely give thee.
I take my leave with many thousand thanks.
But stay! You partly may perceive my mind.
My mind may never perceive what your highness aims at, if I aim aright.
To tell thee plain, I aim to lie with thee.
To tell thee plain, I had rather lie in prison.
Therein thou wrongst thy children mightily.
Herein your highness wrongs both them and me. But this merry inclination goes not with the sadness of my suit. Please, you dismiss me with aye or no.
Her looks the heart and her replete with modesty. Her words doth show her wit incomparable. All her perfections challenge sovereignty. One way or other she is for a king, and she shall be my wife, or else my queen. Say that Edward take thee for his queen.
'Tis better said than done, my lord.
Sweet widow, by my state I swear to thee, I speak no more than what my soul intends, and that is to enjoy thee for my love.
And that is more than I will yield unto, for I know I'm too mean to be your queen, and yet too good to be your concubine.
You cavil widow, I did mean my queen.
What?
Answer no more, for thou shalt be my queen.
My gracious lord, Henry your foe is taken and brought your prisoner to your palace gate.
See that he be conveyed unto the tower. And go we, brothers, to the man that took him to question of his apprehension. Widow, go you along. Lords, use her honorably.
Aye, Edward will use women honorably. Would that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring to cross me from the golden time I look for. And yet between my soul's desire and me is Edward, Clarence, and all the unlooked for issue of their bodies, to take their rooms ere I can place myself. For I know not yet how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home. Why, I can smile while I murder, and murder whiles I smile. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it farther off, I'll pluck it down. King of France, mischance hath trod my title down with dishonor.
Why, say, fair queen, whence springs this deep despair?
Be it known that Henry is become a banished man, while proud, ambitious Edward, Duke of York, usurps the regal title and the seat of England's true, anointed, lawful king. This is the cause that I and my poor son am come to crave thy just and lawful aid. And see where comes the breeder of my sorrow.
Welcome, brave Warwick. What brings thee to France?
From worthy Edward, King of Albion, my lord, I come in kindness and unfeigned love. First, to do respect to thy royal person, and then to create a league of amity, and lastly, to tie with a nuptial knot, if thou vouchsafe thy fair sister, the Lady Bona, to England's king in royal marriage.
His demand springs not from Edward's well-meant honest love, but from deceit. For how can tyrants safely govern home unless abroad they purchase great alliance?
Queen Margaret and Prince Edward, vouchsafe at our request to stand aside. Now, Warwick, tell me, even upon thy conscience, is Edward your true king? For I were loath to link with him that were not lawful chosen.
Thereon I pawn my credit and mine honor.
Now, sister, let us hear your firm resolve.
Your grant and your denial shall be mine. Yet I confess, often ere this day, with my ear hearkened to judgment to desire.
Then, Warwick, thus, our sister shall be Edward's, and now forthwith shall articles be drawn touching the jointures that your king must make, which with her dowry shall be counterpoised. Draw near, Queen Margaret, and be a witness that Bona shall be wife to the English king.
These from our king unto your majesty.
What? Has your king married the Lady Grey and sends me a paper to persuade me patience? Is this the alliance that he seeks with France? Dare he presume to scorn us in this manner?
King Louis, I hear protest inside of heaven that I am clear from this misdeed of Edward's. No longer my king, for he dishonors me. And to repair mine honor lost for him, I here renounce him and return to Henry. My noble queen, let former grudges pass, and henceforth I am thy true servitor. I will revenge his wrong to the Lady Bona and replant Henry in the royal throne.
Warwick, these words have turned my hate to love, and to joy that thou becomest King Henry's friend.
Dear brother, how shall Bona be revenged? But by the help to this distressed queen? My quarrel and English queens are one.
And mine, fair Lady Bona, joins with yours.
I firmly am resolved. You shall have aid.
Let me give humble thanks for all at once.
Then England's messenger, return and post, and tell false Edward, thy supposed king.
Tell him, and hope he'll prove a widower shortly. I wear the widow garland for his sake.
Tell him my mourning weeds are laid aside, and I am ready to put armor on.
Tell him from me that he hath done me wrong, and I'll uncrown him ere it be long. Begone!
I long till Edward fall by war's mischance, for mocking marriage with a dame of France.
I came from Edward as ambassador. Now I return his sworn and mortal foe. I was the chief that raised him to the crown. Now I seek revenge to bring this Edward down.
Now, Brother Clarence, how like you our choice, that you stand pensive as half malcontent?
As well as Louis of France or Earl of Warwick.
Suppose they take offense without a cause. I am your king and Warwick's, and must have my will.
Yet hasty marriage seldom proveth well.
Yea, Brother Richard, are you offended too?
No, not I. No, God forbid that I should wish them severed, that God hath joined.
Setting your scorns and your mislike aside, tell me some reason why the Lady Grey should not become my wife and England's queen. Speak freely what you think.
Then this is my opinion. King Louis becomes thy enemy for mocking him about the marriage of Lady Bona.
And Warwick, doing what you gave in charge, is now dishonored by this arrangement.
Alas, poor Clarence, is it for a wife that thou art malcontent? I will provide thee.
In choosing for yourself, you showed your judgment, which, being shallow, you shall leave me to play broker in my own affairs, and to that I shortly mind to leave you.
Leave me or tarry. Edward will be king and not be tied unto his brother's will. Now, messenger, what news from France?
My sovereign liege, no letters and few words. Go tell false Edward the supposed—
Is Louis so brave? Belike he thinks me Henry. But what said Lady Bona to my marriage?
These were her words, uttered with mild disdain. Tell him and hope he'll prove a widower shortly.
I blame not her, she could say little less. But what said Warwick to these injuries?
He, more incensed against your majesty than the rest, discharged me with these words. Tell him he hath done me wrong, therefore I'll uncrown him ere it be long.
Well, I will arm me, being thus forewarned. They shall have wars and pay for their presumptions. But say, is Warwick friends with Margaret?
Aye, gracious sovereign, they are so linked in friendship that young Prince Edward marries Warwick's daughter.
Now, farewell, brother king. Sit you fast. For I will henceforth to Warwick's other daughter, and though I may want a kingdom, yet in marriage I may prove inferior to yourself.
I stay not for the love of Edward, but for the crown. Clarence gone to Warwick, yet am I armed against the worst can happen. I'll levy men and make prepare for war. But ere I go, Hastings, resolve my doubt. Tell me if you love Warwick more than me. If it be so, then depart to him. I rather wish you a foe than hollow friend.
Hastings ever favors Edward's cause.
Now, Brother Richard, will you stand by us? Aye, in despite of all that shall withstand you. Why then am I sure of victory? Now therefore let us hence and lose no hour till we meet Warwick with his foreign power.
Warwick. Warwick. I've come to ask for
Why, gentle Clarence, my daughter shall be thine. And what rests but in the knight's coverture, thy brother being carelessly encamped and attended by a simple guard, so seize him. I say, not slaughter him, for I intend only to surprise him. Now, let's away in silent sort. On to free King Henry from imprisonment and see him seated in the royal throne.
Brother of Gloucester, Lord Hastings, stand you thus close to steal the bishop's deer?
The time and case requireth haste. Your horse stands ready at the park corner.
But whither shall we then?
Wherefore stay we? Come on, let's have no more ado.
Bishop, farewell. Shield thee from Warwick's frown, and pray that I may repossess the crown.
Edward.
What youth is that?
My liege, it is young Henry, Earl of Richmond.
Come hither, England's hope. If secret powers suggest but truth to my dividing thoughts, this pretty lad will prove our country's bliss. His looks are full of peaceful majesty, his head by nature framed to wear a crown, his hands to wield a scepter, and himself likely in time to bless a regal throne. Make much of him, my lords, for this is he. Must help you more than you are hurt by me.
What news, my friend?
That Edward is escaping from your brother and
Distasteful news, but how may he escape?
who is convicted by Richard, Duke of Gloucester, and the Lord Hastings, who attended him in secret ambush on the bishop's grounds.
My brother was too careless in his charge. But let us hence, my son-in-law, and provide a salve for any sore that may betide.
cousin of Exeter. Here at the palace will I rest a while. What thinks your lordship? Methinks that the power that Edward hath in field should not be able to encounter mine.
The doubt is that he will seduce the rest.
That's not my fear. My meed hath got me fame. I have not stopped mine ears to their demands, nor posted off their suits with slow delays. My pity hath been balm to heal their wounds. I have not been desirous of their wealth, nor much oppressed them of great subsidies, nor forward of revenge, though they much erred. Then why should they love Edward more than me?
My York! My York!
Hark, my lord, what shouts are these?
Seize on the shamefaced Henry, bear him hence, and once again proclaim us King of England. Hence with him to the tower, let him not speak. And now, towards Warwick, bend we our course. Away betime before his forces join, and take the great-grown traitors unawares. Brave warriors, march amain towards Coventry. Sound a parley! See how the surly Warwick mans the wall.
Oh, unbid spite, is sportful Edward come?
Now, Warwick, wilt thou ope thy city gates, speak gentle words, and humbly bend thy knee? At Edward's hand, request mercy, and he shall pardon thee these outrages.
Nay, rather, wilt thou draw thy forces hence, confess who set thee up, and plucked thee down, call Warwick patron, and be penitent, and thou shalt still be the Duke of York. Henry is my king!
But Warwick's king is Edward's prisoner. What is the body when the head is off? Wind-changing Warwick can change no more.
And lo, where George of Clarence sweeps along, a force enough to bid his brother battle, with whom an upright zeal to right prevails, more so than a brother's love. Come, Clarence, come, thou wilt if Warwick call.
Father of Warwick, know you what this means? Look how I throw my infamy at thee. I will not ruinate my father's house. Trowest thou, Warwick, that Clarence is so unnatural to bend the fatal instruments of war against his brother and lawful king? I am so sorry for the trespass made that well deserves my brother's hands. I hereby claim thyself thy mortal foe. Pardon me, Edward. I will make amends. And Richard, do not frown upon my faults, for I will henceforth be no more an unconstant.
Now welcome more, and 10 times more beloved than if thou never hadst deserved our hate.
Welcome, good Clarence. This is brother-like.
I bid thee battle, Edward, if thou darest.
Yes, Warwick, Edward dares, and leads the way. Lords to the field, St. George and victory!
Yeah!
lords, we will not from the helm to sit and weep, but keep our course, so the rough winds say no, from shelves and rocks that threaten us with wreck. And what is Edward but a ruthless sea? What Clarence but a quicksand of deceit? And Richard but a ragged, fatal rock? All these the enemies to our poor buck. This speak I, lords, to let you understand, if case some one of you should fly from us, that there's no mercy more than with the brothers than with ruthless waves, with shelves and rocks. Why? Courage then, what cannot be avoided twere childish weakness to lament or fear.
3 followers. I need not add more fuel to your fire, for will I watch you blaze to burn them out. Give signal to the fight, and to it, lords!
Lords, knights, and gentlemen, Henry, your sovereign, is prisoner to the foe, his state usurped, his realm a slaughterhouse, his subjects slain, and yonder is the wolf that makes this spoil. You fight injustice. Then, in God's name, lords, be valiant, and give signal to the fight!
Edward, what trouble thou hast turned me to?
Speak like a subject, proud ambitious York. Suppose that I am now my father's mount. Resign thy claim, traitor, thou wouldn't have me answer to.
Ah, that thy father had been so resolved.
By heaven, brat, I'll plague you for that word.
Aye, thou wast born to be a plague to men.
Someone take away this captive's scold.
Nay, take away this squabbling crook that rather.
Peace, willful boy, or I will charm your tongue.
Untutored lad, art thou too malapert?
I know my duty. You are all undutiful. Lascivious Edward, and thou perjure George, and thou misshapen Dick. I tell you all, I am your better. Traitors as you are, and thou usurpst my father's right and mine.
Take that! The likeness of this railer here. Take that to end thy agony.
And there for quitting of my perjury.
Oh, kill me too!
Marry and shall. Hold, Richard, hold. For we have done too much. Why should she live to fill the world with her words? Brother, excuse me to the king, my brother. I will hence to London on a serious matter.
Oh, Ned, sweet Ned! Oh, traitors, murderers! You are men! This, in respect, a child! What's worse than a murderer that I may name it? No, my heart will burst, and if I speak, and I will speak so that my heart may burst. Butchers and villains, bloody cannibals, how sweet a plant have you untimely cropped! You have no children, butchers. If you had, the thought of them would have stirred up remorse. And if you ever chanced to have a child, looked him in his youth to have him so cut off, as you, Depsman, have rid this sweet young prince.
Away with her. Go bear her hence perforce.
Nay, never bear me hence. Sheathe thy sword. I'll pardon thee my death. What? Wilt thou not? Then, Clarence, do it thou.
I will not do thee with so much ease.
Good Clarence, do. Oh, sweet Clarence, do thou do it.
Didst thou not hear me say I wouldn't?
Aye, but thou usest to forswear thyself. 'Twas sin before, but now 'tis charity. What? Will thou not? Where is that devil's butcher, Richard? Where art thou? Murder is thy alms deed. Petitioners for blood thou ne'er puttest back.
Away, I say. Go bear her hence.
So come to you and yours as to this prince.
To London and all post, I suppose, to make a bloody supper in the Tower.
He's sudden if a thing comes in his head. Now, march we hence and let's away to London, and see our gentle queen how well she fares. By this I hope she hath a son for me.
Good day, my lord. What at your books so hard?
Aye, my good lord. My lord, I should say that. 'Tis sin to flatter. I prophesy that many a thousand shall rue the hour that ever thou wast born. The owl shrieked at thy birth, an evil sign. Dogs howled and hideous tempest shook down trees. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, and yet brought forth less than a mother's hope. Teeth hadst thou in thy head when thou wast born, to signify thou camest to bite the world. And if the rest be true which I have heard, thou camest.
I'll hear no more. Die, prophet, in thy speech, for this amongst the rest I was ordained.
Aye, and for much more slaughter after this. Forgive my sins, Lord, and pardon me.
What would the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink into the ground? Down to hell, and say I sent thee thither! For I have neither pity, love, nor fear. 'Tis true that Henry told me of. I have often heard my mother say I came into the world with my legs forward. Had I not reason, think you, to make haste and seek their ruin that usurped our right? The midwife wondered, and the women cried, "Ah, Jesus, bless us, he is born with teeth!" And so I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. And since the heavens have made my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to follow. I am myself alone. The king and his son, the prince, are gone. I'll hide thy body in another room, and triumph, Henry, in thy day of doom.
Once more, we sit in England's royal throne, repurchased with the blood of enemies. My darling Bess, how I adore that boy. Young Ned, for thee, thine uncles, and myself, have in our armors watched the winter's night, that thou mightest repossess the crown in peace.
What will your grace have done with Margaret? Renier, her father, has sent for her ransom.
Away with her, and waft her hence to France. Now, what rests but that we spend the time with stately triumphs, mirthful comic shows, such as befits the pleasure of the court? Sound drums and trumpets, farewell, sour annoy, for here I hope begins our lasting joy.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York. Our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings. But I am not shaped for sportive tricks, and take no pleasure to pass away the time. And since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these farewell spoken days, I am determined to prove
a villain. Prophecies that I have laid in deadly hate for George and King Edward. Prophecies that say that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul, for here Clarence comes. Brother, good day. What means this armed guard?
His Majesty hath conducted me and conveyed to the tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
What's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
Yea, for one I know, for yet I protest I do not. But I can guess. He hearkens after dreams and prophecies, and says a wizard says that if I name G, his issues disinherited should be. And because my name is George, begins with G, he believes that that is me.
Brother, I will unto the king. Your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you.
Farewell.
Go tread the path that thou shalt ne'er return. Sweet, simple Clarence, I do love thee so, which is why I'll shortly send thy soul to heaven. Ah, is this the new delivered Hastings? What news abroad?
No news so bad abroad as is at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians fear him mightily.
Now, by St. John, that is bad news. Where is he, in his bed?
He is.
Go you before, and I will after you. He cannot live. I hope it mustn't die, till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. And then King Edward will be left to his mercy and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What though I killed her husband and her father? The readiest way to make the wench amends, to become her husband, the which will I. And yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes, Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then I must count my gains.
Poor key-cold figure of a holy king, pale ashes of the house of Lancaster, I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor heir. Wife to thy Edward, thy slaughtered son. Oh, cursed be the hand that made these holes. Cursed the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from hence.
Sweet saint, for charity, be not so cursed.
Foul devil, hence, and trouble us not.
Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, and but by circumstance to give me leave but to acquit myself. I did not kill your husband.
Why then, he is alive.
Nay, he is dead and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog. Then God grant me too, thou mayest be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
Better for heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
And let him thank me that hope to send him thither, for he is fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
What place else, if you'll hear me name it?
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
Ill rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
Lady, till I lie with thee, but gentle Anne, isn't the causer of the effect almost as much to blame as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep to undertake the death of all the world and bereft thee from thy husband to help thee to a better husband.
His better doth not breathe upon the earth. Cannot change your mind? Lo, I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword and humbly beg death upon my knee.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be thy executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already. I would I knew thy heart.
'Tis figured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
Shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Lady, leave these sad designs to one who hath most cause to be a mourner. I will expedient duty to you.
Much it joys me to see you are become so penitent.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Was woman in this humor ever wooed? Was woman in this humor ever won? I will have her, but I will not keep her long. But till then, I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love.
There's no doubt His Majesty will soon recover his accustomed health.
If he were dead, what would betide on me?
The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son to be your comforter when he is gone.
He is young, and his minority is put unto Richard of Gloucester, a man that loves not me, nor none of you.
Will it conclude that you'll be protector?
It is determined, not yet concluded, but so it must be if the king miscarry.
A plague upon you all! Our brother is imprisoned by your means.
My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty of the gross taunts that oft I have endured.
Ere you were queen, and I your husband king, I was the pack horse in his great affairs. To royalize his blood, I spent mine own.
I in much better blood than his or thine, a murderous villain, and so still thou art.
And he did forsake his father Warwick so.
Which God revenge, I can no longer hold me patient.
Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which you have pilled from me. Which of you trembles not that looks on me? Ah, gentle villain, do not turn away. What makest thou in my sight, hag? Weren't thou banished on the pain of death?
I was. A husband and a son thou owest to me. And thou, a kingdom, all of you, allegiance. All the sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine.
Then curse my noble father laid on thee, when thou dost grant his warlike brow with paper. So God, not we, plague this bloody deed.
'Twas the foulest deed to slay that babe, the most merciless that e'er was heard of.
Tyrants themselves wept when it was reported.
No man but prophesied.
What? Were you snarling all before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat and turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven? Why then, give way to my quick curses, though not by war, by surfeit die your king,
Edward, thy son, that now is Prince of Wales, for Edward, my son, that was Prince of Wales, die in his youth by like untimely violence. Thyself, a queen, for me, that was a queen, outlive thy glory like thy wretched self. And long mayst thou live to wail thy children's death, and see another, as I see thee now, decked in thy rights, as thou art stalled in mine, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. All you that were standers by, God, I pray him that none of you may live his natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off. Hath marked thy curse, thou withered hag,
And leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. Thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, and take deep traitors for thy dearest friends. No sleep close up that deadly eye of thine, unless it be well some tormented dream affrights thee with a hell of ugly devils. Thou elvish marked, abortive, rooting hog, thou ragabond, thou detested
Margaret!
Richard! Oh, let me make the period to my curse.
'Twas done by me and ends with Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse upon yourself.
Poor shadow, painted queen, the day shall come that thou shalt wish for me to help you curse this poisonous, bunt-backed tongue.
False voting woman, end thy frantic curse, lest to thy harm thou move our patience.
Peace, peace, for shame if not for charity.
Urge neither charity nor shame to me. My charity is outrage, life, my shame. And in that shame still live my sorrow's rage.
My hair doth stand an end to hear her curses.
And so doth mine. I muse when she's at liberty.
She hath had too much wrong. I do not blame her.
I never did her any, to my knowledge.
Yet you are the vantage of all of her curses.
Madame, his majesty doth call for you.
Stanley, I come. Lords, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
But soft, here come my executioners. Are you going to go dispatch this thing?
We are, my lord.
Good. Go about your business straight. Do not mark him, for Clarence is well spoken, and he may move your hearts to pity.
Tut, tut, my lord, we will not stand prate. Talkers are no good doers. Be assured, we go to use our hands and not our tongues.
Go, go. Dispatch.
We will, my noble lord.
Night, so full of fearful dreams. Methought I had broken from the tower and was embalmed, and in my company my brother Gloucester tempted me to walk upon the hatches. And as we paced along, methought my brother Gloucester stumbled and struck me to the billowing mains. Oh Lord, what a pain it was to drown! What hideous noise of water filled my ears! What ugly sights of death filled my eyes. Oh, methought I saw 1,000 fearful rocks, and 1,000 fish-gnawed men, all at the bottom of the sea. Oh, my dream was lengthened after life. Oh, began the tempest to my soul. I was greeted by a legion of foul fiends that environed me and howled such hideous cries in my ears that the very noise trembled me awake. And I realized that I was in hell. Oh, what a terrible impression this dream has made.
What, shall I stab him as he sleeps?
What, art thou afraid?
Nay, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me.
Remember the reward when the deed is done.
Sounds he dies, I had forgot the reward.
Soft, he wakes.
Strike!
Oh God, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
But not as I am royal. Your eyes do menace me. Why do you look so pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come? To murder me? You scarcely had the heart to say it, so you cannot have the heart to do it. Wherein have I offended you, my friends?
Offended us, you have not, but the king.
But I should be reconciled with him again.
Never, my lord, therefore prepare to die.
But who can sentence me? Who pronounced the bitter end of poor Clarence's death before proper conduct of course of law?
What we do upon a command.
And he that hath commanded is our king.
But the King of Kings hath commanded, thou shalt not commit murder. Will you spare at his edict and make amends?
Make peace with God, for you must die, my lord.
My friends, I spy some pity in your look. Come with me, entreat with me.
Look out behind you, my lord!
And if all this will not do, I'll drown you in the mumsy butt within.
A bloody deed is desperately dispatched.
How now? What meanest thou, hopest me not? By heavens, the Duke will know how slack you have been.
I would he knew that I had saved his brother!
Go, coward as thou art. I'll go hide the body in some hole, till the Duke give me permission for his burial.
Sovereign Lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence to your grace.
Why, madam? Who knows not that the gentle Duke is dead? You do him injury to scorn his course.
Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is? Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed.
But by he your first order died, and God grant that some less loyal, less noble, nearer in bloody thoughts and less in blood, deserve not worse than wretched Clarence did, and get no current from suspicion.
Have I tongue to do my brother's death?
My brother killed no man, his fault was thought, and yet his punishment was bitter death.
Who sued to me for him? Who in my wrath kneeled at my feet and bade me be advised? The proudest of you all were beholding to him in his life, yet none of you would once beg for his life. Oh God, I fear thy justice will take hold on me and you and thine and yours for this. Ah, poor Clarence.
See how the guilty kindred of the queen looked pale when thou heard of Clarence's death. God will revenge it. Come, lords, Will we join our grace with our pleasure?
We wait upon your grace.
Bend his brave forehead. Let him crown. In him your comfort lives. Drown secret sorrow in dead Edward's grave, and play your joys in living Edward's throne.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine the date coronation for the young prince. In God's name, speak. When is the royal day?
Tomorrow I judge a happy day.
Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein?
For his purpose in the coronation, I have not sounded him.
In happy time, here comes the Duke himself.
Cousins and good friends, good morrow. I've long been a sleeper, but I trust that my absence neglect no design that without me hath been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, Lord William Hastings would have taken your part. I mean, for the crowning of the king.
Tomorrow, in my judgment, is too sudden, for I myself am not so well provided, as else I would be were the day prolonged.
Buckingham, go to the mayor of Guildhall, hies him in all post, and at the meetest advantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Nay, tell them that when my mother was with child of that insatiate Edward, Duke of York, my father had wars in France at the time, and by true computation of the time, found that the issue was not his begot, and being nothing like my princely father, but touch this sparingly as 'twere far off, because, my lord, you know my mother lives.
Doubt not, my lord. I will play the orator as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself.
Ah, who shall hinder me to wail and weep to try my fortune and torment myself? What means this scene of rude impatience? Edward, thy son, my lord, our king, is dead. If you will live, lament. If die, be grief that our swift-winged souls may catch the kings, or like obedient subjects follow him to his new kingdom of ne'er-changing night. Alas, I am the mother of these griefs. She for an Edward weeps, as do I, and I will pamper it with lamentation.
Comfort, dear sister.
Comfort, sister. We all have reason to wail the dimming of our shining star.
You cloudy princes, now cheer each other in each other's love. Though we have spent our harvest of this king, we are to reap the harvest of his son.
Meseemeth good that the young prince be fetched hither to London, to be crowned our king.
Sister, madam, will you go? Hastings, a word.
Get a prayer book in hand and stand between two churchmen. Good, my lord, and be not easily won to our requests. I go. Go, go. The Lord Mayor knocks. Welcome, my lord. I think the Duke will not be spoke withal. Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with 2 right reverend fathers, and in no worldly suit would he be moved to be drawn from his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him myself, the mayor and aldermen, in deep designs, in matter of great moment, are come to have conference with his grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Ha, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love bed, but rather all the day at meditation. Happy were England with this virtuous prince, take on he the grace and sovereignty thereof. But sure I fear we shall not win him to it.
Merry God defend his grace, or say us nay. Look, how he stands between 2 clergymen.
Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend favorable ear to our request, and forgive us thy interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
There needs no such apology. What is my grace's pleasure?
Know then that you resign your due of birth, within the mildness of your sleepy thoughts, which to recur we heartily solicit, that your gracious self take on you the grace and sovereignty thereof, the kingly government of this your land, not as protector, but as your right of birth. In this just cause come I to move your grace.
I cannot tell if to depart in silence, or speak bitterly in your reproof, but that best fitteth my degree or your condition. Therefore I answer, God be thanked, there is no need for me. The royal tree hath left us with royal fruit, which mellowed by the stealing hours of time will well become the seat of majesty. On him I lay what you would lay on me, which God defend that I should wring from him.
You say that Edward is your brother's child. So say we too, but not by Edward's wife. Take on you this royal title, draw forth your noble ancestry, and take up you this duty.
Will you heap a world of cares on me?
Refuse not this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful, grant their lawful suit.
I cannot. I will not yield to you.
If you refuse it, my lord, loath to depose the child, your brother's son shall never reign our king. But we will plant some other in the throne, to the disgrace and downfall of your house. In this resolution, here I leave you. Come, citizens, zounds, I will entreat no more.
Oh, do not swear, cousin Buckingham.
Oh, call him again, sweet prince. Accept his suit. If you deny them, the whole land will rue it.
Will you heap this care on me? Go, call him again. For I am not made of stones, but penetrable to your kind entreaties, albeit against my conscience and my soul. If you will buckle fortune on my back, to bear her burden, or I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live Richard, England's worthy king.
Amen!
Tomorrow may it please you to be crowned.
Even when you have it so, for you will have it.
Tomorrow, then, we shall attend your grace, and so most joyfully we take our leave.
Let us get back to our holy work. Goodbye, cousin Buckingham. Farewell, gentle friends.
East Plantagenet wandering to the tower to greet the tender prince.
God give your graces both a happy and joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. We'll enter all together, and in good times the master hasten comes. How doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
Who's that?
I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath. Therefore, pardon.
Come, madam, come. You must straight to Westminster, here to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Cut my lace asunder, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Oh, despiteful tidings, oh, unpleasing news. Oh, my accursed womb, the bed of death. The cockatrice hast thou hatched the world, whose unavoided eyes murder it.
Come, madam, I in all haste would send.
And I, with all unwillingness, will go. Anointed let me be with deadly venom, and die ere men can say, God save the queen.
Go, poor soul, I envy not thy glory. To feed my humor, wish thyself no harm.
No? Why? When he that is my husband now came to me as I followed Henry's course, I looked on Richard's face. This was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young a widow. And when thou weddest, let sorrow haunt thy bed and be thy wife. I proved the subject of my own soul's curse. For never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep. And besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
Poor heart, adieu, I pity thee.
No more than with my soul I mourn for yours.
Go thou to Richard, and let good angels tend thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and let good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me. 80-odd years of sorrow have I seen.
Stay, yet look with me unto the tower. Pity you, ancient stones, those tender babes which envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones. Rude, ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow, for tender princes use my babies well.
Buckingham,
My gracious sovereign.
thus high by thy advice is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall we rejoice in them for the time to come?
Still live they, and forever let them last.
Ah, Buckingham, young Edward still lives. What would I say now?
Say on, my loving lord.
Shall I be plain? I wish the bastard's dead, and I shall have it suddenly performed. What sayest thou now? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Shall I have thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some breath, some little pause, dear lord, before I can positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
High-reaching Buckingham, go circumspect. Catesby,
My lord,
knowest not a man whom corrupting in gold will tempt unto the close exploit of death?
I know a gentleman whose means match not his spirit. Gold will no doubt tempt him to anything.
What is his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrrell.
I partly know of the man. Go, fetch him. Stanley! Rumor it abroad that my wife Anne is very grievous sick and like to die. I must marry my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Is thy name Tyrrell?
James Tyrrell, your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Would thou like to kill two deep friends of mine?
Please you, but I'd rather kill two enemies.
Tyrrell, I mean the bastards in the tower.
Let me have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you fear of them.
Say it is done, and I will love thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in. My lord, I've come to claim my gift, my due by promise, for which your faith and your honor is pawned. The earldom of Hereford, for which you have promised said I shall possess.
I do remember me that Henry VI did prophesy that Richmond would gain the crown when he was a little peevish boy.
My lord, your promise for the earldom, your grace is thus.
Buckingham, I'm not in the giving vein today.
And is it thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Oh, let me think on Hastings, and be gone to Brecknock while my fearful head is on.
The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom, and Anne my wife hath bid this world good night. For now I know that Breton Richmond aims at my brother's youngest daughter, and by that knot looks proudly on the crown. Catesby, what news?
My lord, Buckingham, backed with the hardy Welshman, is in the field and still his power increaseth.
Richmond worries me more than Buckingham and his rash levied strength. Go, let's muster men.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Oh, withdraw thee, wretched Margaret, who comes here.
My poor princess, all my tender faith, if yet your gentle souls hover in the air, hover about me, hear your mother's lamentation. So many miseries have crazed my voice that my woe-weary tongue is still and mute. Wilt thou, oh God, fly such gentle lambs and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When didst thou sleep when such a deed was done?
When holy Harry died and my sweet son.
Poor mortal living ghost, rest thy unrest on England's lawful earth.
A grave to hide my bones, not rest them here.
For who hath cause to mourn but we?
If ancient sorrow be most reverend, give mine the benefit of seniority. If sorrow can admit society,
tell over your woes again by viewing mine. I had an Edward till a Richard killed him. I had a husband till a Richard killed him. Thou had an Edward till a Richard killed him. Thou had a Richard till a Richard killed him.
I had a Richard too, and thou didst kill him. I had a Rutland too, thou holpst to kill him.
Thou hadst a Clarence too, and a Richard killed him. From forth the kennel of thy womb hath crept a hellhound that doth hunt us all to death.
Oh God, Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes. God witness with me, I have wept for thine.
Thy Edward, he is dead, that killed my Edward. Thy young Prince Edward dead, and young York to boot. Thy Clarence, he is dead, that stabbed my Edward. The adulterate Hastings and Rivers, untimely butchered in their dusky graves. Richard yet lives. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends roar, saints pray to have him suddenly conveyed from hence. Dear God, I pray that I may live and say, the dog is dead.
Thou didst prophesy that the time would come when I should ask for you to teach me how to curse mine enemies.
I called thee then, vain flourish of my fortune. I called thee then, poor shadow-painted queen. Thou didst usurp my place, and didst thou not usurp the just proportion of my sorrow? Farewell, York's wife, and queen of sad mischance. These English woes will make me smile in prance.
Oh, thou well-skilled in curses, stay a while, and teach me how to curse that bottled spider, that bunchback toad.
Forbear to sleep the nights, and fast the days. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were sweeter than they were, and he that slew him fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
Go with me, and in the bitter breath let smother my damned son that thy two sweet sons smothered.
Who intercepts me in my expedition?
She who hath intercepted thee in her accursed womb by strangling him. For all the slaughter, wretch, that thou hast done, thou toad, out art thou my son?
Aye, I thank God, my father, and yourself.
Then patiently hear my impatience.
Do it in haste, good mother, for I am in a hurry.
Art thou so hasty? Then hear me a word, for I shall never speak to thee again. Take with thee my most grievous curse, my prayers on the adverse party fight, and there the little souls of Edward's children shall whisper to thine enemies and promise them success and victory. Bloody thou art, bloody be thy end. Shame serve thy life, and doth thy death attend.
Though far more cause, yet much less spirit abides in me to do so. I say amen to her.
Madam, stay a minute. I must have a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for you to slaughter. As for my daughters, they shall be praying nuns, not weeping queens, so level not to hit their lives.
But you have a daughter called Elizabeth, kind, virtuous, beauteous, royal.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, and I will slander myself as false to Edward's bed so she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter.
Wrong not her birth, she is a royal princess.
To save her life, I'll say she is not so.
She is only safest in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers.
You speak as if I had slain my cousins.
Cousins indeed, and by their uncle, cousin, of kingdom, kindred, freedom, life.
Madam, I intend more good to you and yours than ever you or yours were harmed by me.
What good
is in the face of heaven to be discovered that can do me good.
Then know that from my heart that I love thy daughter, and I intend to make her Queen of England.
Who dost thou mean shall be her king? What? Thou?
Even so, what think you of it?
How canst thou woo her?
That I would learn of you.
And wilt thou learn of me?
Yes, madam, with all my heart.
Send to her by the man who slew her brothers, a pair of bleeding hearts. Thereon engraved Edward and York. Then happily will she weep. Tell her thou madest quick conveyance of her uncle Clarence, her uncle Rivers, and, for her sake, her good aunt Anne.
Madam, what is done is done. Men will deal unadvisedly sometimes, which after hours gives leisure to repent. If I did take the kingdom from your sons, I intend to make amends by giving it to your daughter.
What were I best to say? That her father's brother shall be her lord, or shall I say her uncle, or he that slew her brothers and her uncles? Under what title shall I woo for thee, that God, the law, my love, may make seem pleasing to her tender years?
Your reasons are too shallow and too quick.
Oh, no. My reasons are too deep and dead! Too deep and dead infants in their graves!
Harp not on that string, madam, that is past.
Harp on it, still shall I, till heart strings break.
Now by my George, my garter, and my crown.
Profaned, dishonored, and the third usurped.
I swear.
By nothing. For this is no oath. If thou can choose to swear by something, swear by something thou hast not wronged.
Then by myself.
Thyself is self-misused.
Then by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrong.
Then by God.
God's wrong is most of all. If thou didst fear to break an oath to him, the imperial medal, now circling thy head, had once graced the tender temples of my child. And both the princes had been breathing here, which now, two tender bedfellows for dust. Thy foul wrongs hath made the prey for worms. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come, as I intend to prosper and repent. So thrive I in my dangerous affairs, and heaven and fortune bar me happy hours, and be all opposite of good planets of good luck. For if I not tender thy beauteous princely daughter, in her happiness consists mine and thine. Without her happiness will follow death, desolation, ruin, and decay. Without this, it cannot be avoided, and it will not be avoided. So, dear mother, I must call you so. Be the attorney of my love to her. Tell of what I have not desert, but what I will deserve.
Shall I be tempted of the devil thus?
Aye, if the devil tempt you to do good.
I go. Write to me shortly, and soon you shall know from me her mind.
Catesby, what news?
Most mighty sovereign, to our shores throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral, and there they haul, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore. Stanley, what news with you?
Richmond is on the sea.
Let the seas have him and let him sink. White-livered renegade, what does he there?
Stirred up by Buckingham, he makes for England here to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the king dead? Who is there alive but great York's heir? And who is king but great York's heir?
Most mighty sovereign, my friends are in the north.
Cold friends to me. What do they do there when they should serve their sovereign here?
please, with your majesty. Give me leave. I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace. Where and what time your majesty does please.
I can have you go and join Richmond. I'll trust not thee.
Most mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful.
Fine. Go. Muster men. But leave behind your son, George Stanley. And if your head and your heart is frail, his head's assurance is but weak.
So deal with him, as I prove true to you.
Let us to the field. When traitors breed the field, a royal battle must be won or lost.
This is All Souls' Day. Why then is All Souls' Day my body's doomsday? I've been false to King Edward's children and his wife. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy upon my neck. Come, officer, lead me to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame. Fellows in arms and my most loving friends, thus far have we marched on without impediment, and here receive we from our father Stanley lines of fair comfort and encouragement. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Here will I lie tonight.
The weary sun hath made a golden set, gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. My lord of Oxford, stay with me, let us consult upon tomorrow's business.
I have not the alacrity of spirit nor cheer of mind. Go, bid my watch leave. Leave me.
When I was mortal, my anointed body by thee was punctured full of deadly holes. Think on the tower and of me. To spare and die. Harry the Sixth bids thee despair and die. Virtuous and holy, be thou conqueror. Harry that prophesied thou shouldest be king, dost comfort thee in thy sleep. Live and flourish.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tonight. Poor Clarence by guile betrayed to death. In battle tomorrow think on me, and fall on thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wronged heirs of York do pray for thee. Good angels guard thy battle. Live and flourish.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow, rivers that died of Pomfret, despair and die.
Bloody and guilty, guiltily awake, and in a bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings. Despair and die. would soon. Awake, awake. Arm, fight, and conquer for fair England's sake.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched Anne thy wife, that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die! Quiet soul, sleep thou a quiet sleep. Dream of success and happy victory. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee.
The first was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle, think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. God's good angels fight on Richmond's side, and Richard fall in height of all his pride.
Oh, Jesu, what a fearful dream. What do I fear? Myself? There is none else by. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. No creature loves me. No creature pities me, for I am neither pity for myself, in myself, or true to myself. Oh, what a fearful dream. It is not yet near day. How have you slept, my lord? The sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams. Methought those souls whose bodies Richard murdered came to my tent and cried on victory. How far into the morning is it, my lord? Upon the stroke of 4. Why then 'tis time to arm and give direction. Loving countrymen, remember this. God and our good cause fight upon our side. Richard, a bloody tyrant and a homicide, one that hath ever been God's enemy. That if you fight against God's enemy, advance your standards, draw your willing swords, sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond, and victory!
The sun will not be seen today. The sky doth frown and lower upon our army as the same self-heaven, the dewy tears upon the ground that look on Richmond's army. What is that to me? The same sky that doth frown on us frowns on Richmond. Let us to it, pell-mell, and if not in heaven, surely to hell.
Seeking for Richmond in the throat of death.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse!
Withdraw, my lord, I'll help you to a horse.
Scourge, I have set my life upon a castle, I will stand the hazard of the dying. A horse, my kingdom for a horse!
praised victorious friends. The day is ours. The bloody dog is dead.
Courageous Richmond. Lo, here this long usurped royalty from the dead temples, but the bloody wretch have I plucked off to grace thy brows withal. Wear it, enjoy it, and make much of it.
Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled, and then will we unite white rose and red. England hath long been mad and scarred herself, York and Lancaster in their dire division. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance conjoin together, and let their heirs enrich the time to come with peace, with smiling plenty and fair prosperous days. Now civil wounds are stopped, peace lives again. That she may long live here, God say amen.